So, medical marijuana has been debated for a long time. And guess what you're looking at? That's actually the medical marijuana. That's what it looks like. Actually, I have an example right here in the studio. Rosanna, you and I thought they'd be handing out joints at the doctor's office.
Either that or like cookies, brownies, you know, lollipops like they do in California and Colorado.
It doesn't work quite that way. We have a lot to learn, but medical dispensaries, medical marijuana dispensaries are now open in New York City and throughout New York State.
Bloomfield Industries is one of 5 firms allowed to grow and process marijuana to chronically ill patients in New York State.
Let's meet our guest, shall we?
Yes, Colette Bellefleur. She is the Chief Operating Officer of Bloomfield Industries. And Dr. Devi, she is with NYU School of Medicine, has nothing to do with medical marijuana, but we thought it would be great to get a doctor's perspective on all this. Colette, nice to, and Dr. Devi, nice to have you here. Colette, let's start with you.
Sure.
So you open your what do you call it?
Patient resource centers.
Okay, today.
Yep. Today.
And so what happens? People need to come in with prescriptions?
It's not a prescription. Patients need to go to their physicians, who must be registered with the state. They get a recommendation from their physician. Then they go to the state's website and they get certified. They must come into our patient resource center certified with their documentation, their card, and their identification before they're even allowed into the patient resource center.
That sounds
complicated
and much more involved than getting a prescription. You're saying a patient has to do all that, then they go to your facility, your resource center.
Correct.
For a follow-on, for more consultation. You're just not handing out marijuana.
That's correct.
You guys make the decision.
That's correct.
So Colette, this is different than like California and Colorado, because I've heard like college students can actually, no, seriously, college students can actually go to a doctor next door to these dispensaries.
No, the hallmark of this program is the relationship between the patient and the physician that's treating them for one of 10 very debilitating diseases.
Okay, again, but my personal physician, he has to undergo special training.
Correct.
And then he gives me a certificate, then I got to go online, then I show up at your center.
Correct.
And I got to talk to another guy who may or may not give me the marijuana.
No, once you have a certification, you will receive cannabis-based medicine from us.
Actually, the discussion's over. There's no debate at that point.
No, there's no debate.
So how does it, what forms does it come in?
So there are no combustible products in the New York State program.
So you can't smoke it?
There are no topicals and there are no edibles. So the marijuana is processed into oil and the oil is made into medicine. What you're looking at here is a syrup, just like any other medicine that's dispensed or taken as a syrup.
Right here, the syrup, we got the bottles here, and again, you put it on a teaspoon?
There's a dosing cup right at the top.
Okay.
The other medicine that you're looking at over there is an oil.
The small
with
one,
an oral syringe that's typically used to treat children who, for example, have epilepsy. The dose goes under the tongue using that oral syringe.
Now, it looks like it's been modified, at least in its form. Does it, and I'm not trying to be facetious or cute here, but does it give you a high?
There are various ratios of medicine based on the level of CBD and THC. THC is the psychoactive. Some ratios have high THC for very critical pain.
So some do.
Ratios have high CBD and low THC, like for children, that will not make them euphoric or
Dr.
high.
Devi, we would love to get you involved in this conversation. So what do you think? Is this something good? Do you see signs of abuse here?
Well, I think New York is handling it the right way. So they're basically making medical marijuana available, but they've got enough restrictions that hopefully we won't see that much abuse. So for patients who have cancer, spinal cord injury, multiple sclerosis, HIV and AIDS, you know, a lot of them have problems with severe pain. They have problems with nausea and vomiting too, and this can really help those folks. So they actually would qualify, they'd be able to get it. Not everybody, but the folks that might benefit.
And you're a doctor,
I'm a pain management specialist.
A medical doctor, correct?
Yes.
Where can we find you?
Well, I'm at NYU and also at my own private practice, Metropolis Pain Medicine.
And you, with all your credentials, though, you are not yet authorized to dispense or prescribe marijuana.
Exactly.
You have to go through a special course?
Exactly. So I'd have to do that. I mean, the thing that I have a concern about, just to say the other side, you know, I see mostly patients with back pain and arthritis. So we don't know what the evidence is that medical marijuana would help those folks. So I think New York has done the right thing, that they're kind of cautiously looking to see how this would work in certain conditions.
So right now, those people are not on the list to get the medical marijuana?
No.
Gotcha.
All right. What are the benefits of marijuana apart from the high? You mentioned that for children, the TC, is it the TCH?
CBD.
The CBD is lower or removed.
Yeah.
I thought
no,
a
the
big...
CBD is high, the THC is low, and it's usually used for children with severe seizure disorder. It reduces the number of seizures that they experience in any given day.
Okay, so we know the advantages of this.
Yeah.
What are the disadvantages that you can see from your perspective?
The disadvantages?
Well, every medication has, a whole list of side effects.
There are certainly side effects. There are certainly things that you shouldn't take together, and that is why we have pharmacists on staff at all times during our open hours.
Now, are you being welcomed in some of these neighborhoods?
We've had no issues at all. Once we have this conversation about medicine and not about the other things that have been discussed, and people listen, they're very interested and very, very supportive.
Dr. Devi, what are the drawbacks? What are, if this were a medical marijuana commercial, you know how they go on for about 30 seconds, how it causes all these horrific possibilities?
Yes.
What are some of them?
Well, the things that you worry about are the effects on mood. So it could potentially cause paranoia. It could cause sedation, so people feeling very drowsy. There's some evidence that in the long term, maybe it can contribute to heart disease, but the difficulty is that because it was illegal for so long, nobody's been able to really do the research to see either the pros or the cons for the long term, right?
Well, the people who are really suffering, my uncle had cancer and he was hoping to get that, and unfortunately he didn't live to see this day, so it really will help people who are going through something really critical.
Yeah, that sounds good. Call it real quick. How much for a dose? I mean, this is a business.
So we don't sell it by the dose. It's packaged by 30 doses or a 30-day supply.
How much?
It can go anywhere from $100 to $300, depending on how much your physician recommends that you take in a given day.
Covered by Obamacare, do we know?
Not currently.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Dr. Devi, Colette, thank you. We learned.
Thank you.
Our
Interesting.
pleasure.
Thank you
Thank you
so
very
much.
much. Thanks for
Appreciate
having
It
us.
looks like milk of magnesia. A little bit. Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh,
a little
dear.
bit. I don't trust you with the syringe. Put everything down. Well, does it also cause the munchies?
Would you like?
It can. Well, that's how it
Can
helps
he
with
get
the loss
fatter
of
on this kind
appetite.
of stuff?
That's why you
Put
give it
this
to
down.
people
We
who
don't
have
need any more
nausea,
weight
who are
over here.
wasting. Yeah.
All right. Good days coming right back.